माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, Shyam Rasika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees on this call. This is Premanandini Devidasi from Ashburn, Virginia.
Hare Krishna, Premanandini माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Nikunja Rasadas from Germantown, Maryland.
हरे कृष्णा, निकुंज रस प्रभु, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। Thank you so much for joining and starting recording. Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to announce their name?
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devidasi from Orlando, Florida.
हरे कृष्णा, रुक्मिणी पद्मा माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय। Thank you so much for joining. Anybody else would like to announce their name? Okay. Today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Hari Gopal Prabhu from Govardhan Eco Village, and Prabhuji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam 8.16.23 verse. So Hare Krishna, Hari Gopal Prabhu, welcome to the call. Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. You may please take the call now.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadavayam Dati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lilita Shri Vishakhanvitam हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 16, chapter entitled as Executing the Payovrata Process of Worship, text number 23. Adishatvam dvijasreshta विधिं तद् उपधावनम् आसु तुष्यति मे देवा सिद्ध्यन्त्या सह पुत्रकै. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O best of the Brahmanas, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, by which the Lord may very soon be pleased with me and save me, along with my sons, from this most dangerous condition. Purport: sometimes less intelligent men ask whether one has to approach a guru to be instructed in devotional service for spiritual advancement. The answer is given here. Indeed, not only here, but also in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna accepts Krishna as his guru. Shishyaste ham shadi mam tvam prapanna. The Vedas also instruct tad vigyanartam sa gurum eva gachet. Mundaka Upanishad 1.2.12. One must accept a guru for proper direction if one is seriously inclined towards advancement in spiritual life. The Lord says that one must worship the Acharya, who is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Acharyam mam vijaniyat. One should definitely understand this. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the Guru is a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, according to all the evidence given by the Shastra and by the practical behavior of devotees, one must accept a Guru. Aditi accepted her husband as her Guru so that he would direct her how to advance in spiritual consciousness, devotional service by worshipping the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. So, today we are discussing from this 8th canto, 16th chapter, chapter entitled as Executing the Payovrata process of worship. So, in this chapter, we are seeing that when the demigods had to leave heaven because all the demons headed by Bali Maharaj, all of them came and occupied the heavens. So all the demigods, Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Agni, Surya, they are all not ordinary people. They are very, very powerful. But because of the demons' power, all of them, they had to leave their home. So at that time, Mother Aditi, who is the mother of the demigods, she was very much afflicted. At that time, her husband Kashyapa Rishi told her to observe this vow, this Payovrata process. Whether the husband told that you observe this, because of that, it will be helpful. So that's how we see how this chapter has come to be because of Mother Aditi's dejection because sons are away from the home. So naturally, mother, when she sees that her children are suffering, how can mother be happy? So therefore, here also Aditi is very much in the distress condition, and she is expressing her situation to her husband Kashyapa Rishi that I somehow feel that the Supreme Lord has to help in some way or the other. So at that time, in order to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this Payovrata process of worship is being given by Kashyapa Rishi to his wife Aditi, and he tells that you nicely follow this. And he also is telling that how any worship done to please Lord Vishnu, if at all you want your desires to be fulfilled, so please worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Don't go to anyone else. As Bhagavatam explains, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether you are full of material desires, akama, if you have no material desires, or you have desires for liberation, what you have to do? Tivrena bhakti yogena, engage in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, Aditi as a mother, because she has attachment to her child, hmm, so she is having this desire in her heart, and uh, Kashyapa Rishi, as an ideal husband, as an ideal guru, is trying to guide his wife or the sincere disciple to go and worship Lord Vishnu. Like when Dhruva Maharaj came to Narad Muni, when Dhruva Maharaj was affected because of not being allowed to sit on the lap of his father, Uttanapada. So at that time, his mother, his own mother told that you go to the forest because now you are being hurt by your stepmother Suruchi. So you have a desire to get a higher position. So you go to the forest, worship the Supreme Lord. And Narad Muni also met him on the way. Narad Muni also, after testing Dhruva Maharaj, told the same thing, that you go and worship the Supreme Lord. You have this desire that you want to become greater than the greatest. You want to sit on a high position than that of your great grandfather. So only one person can fulfill your desire. That is the Supreme Lord. So without delay, go and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here also in the same way, like Narad Muni guided child Dhruva, you have a material desire, go and worship the Supreme Lord. Here also in the same way, we see Kashyapa Rishi also guiding his wife Aditi, that go and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now we see before Kashyapa Rishi is beginning to instruct his wife Aditi about the details of this process of Payovrata. What are the things that is to be done? What are the things that should not be done while executing this Payovrata? Before that, we are here, wherein Aditi is now questioning her husband. So in today's verse, we see that Aditi is questioning her husband, O best of the Brahmanas, kindly instruct me in the perfect method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So till now, Kashyapa has told Aditi that you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, your desire will be fulfilled. So after that, she is asking a question that you are kindly instruct me in the perfect method. How should I worship the Supreme Lord, by which the Lord becomes very much pleased with me? Save me along with my sons from the most dangerous condition. So Prabhupada in this purport is emphasizing about the importance of approaching a guru. That is the theme of today's purport, which Srila Prabhupada is focusing upon. So Prabhupada is telling sometimes less intelligent men ask whether one has to approach a guru to be instructed in devotional service or spiritual advancement. So Prabhupada says many times people ask, what is the need of guru in spiritual life? Hmm? So this theory also many times is there. Be your own guru. You don't need a guru. You can become your own guru. Why to go to someone to get enlightened? But Prabhupada here says that not only here, but also in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna accepted Krishna as his guru. So Prabhupada is quoting first about the importance of accepting a guru by quoting the example of Arjuna. Hmm? Yesterday only we were discussing in our Bhakti Shastri class this important verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which Prabhupada is quoting here in the purport. where Arjuna tells, Karpanya dosho upahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yashveyasya nishchitan bruhi tanme Shishyas hamshadimam tvam prapannam. So Arjuna, after giving all of his arguments in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is giving different reasons why I shall not fight. First, he gives the reason of compassion. Because of bodily compassion, I cannot fight. Then the second reason Arjuna gives, even if I get a kingdom, but all my relatives and friends are dead, how can I enjoy alone? It's like everything belongs to you, but you are alone in this world. How does it feel like? Huh? Can't give happiness because no loved ones are there with whom I can share all the kingdom, wealth, everything. So, second reason Arjuna gives is loss of enjoyment. Third reason Arjuna gives for not fighting is sinful reactions. And the fourth reason Arjuna gives is destruction of family tradition. So, after giving all these four reasons, then Arjuna is totally confused. Externally, Arjuna is speaking like a knowledgeable person. Why I will not fight? But then this verse says, Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna tells, Karpanya dosho upahata swabhava, that I am totally overcome by miserly weakness. Karpanya dosho upahata swabhava, prichhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta. I am now totally confused about what I should do in life, what I should not do in life. Yashreyasa nishitan bruhi tanme. So you please decisively tell me, my dear Krishna, Shishyaste hamshadi mamtvam prapannam. I wish to be your disciple. So till now, the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna was that of friends. Friends means both of you are on an equal level. But now one friend has chosen to accept the other friend as the guru. So, which means till now both of them were friends, and now the one friend voluntarily has chose to elevate another friend to become a spiritual guide or spiritual guru. So, this is very important. Why? Because in the this episode, first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and this second chapter, seventh verse, wherein Arjuna is accepting Lord Krishna as the Guru, it is explained that Arjuna is not an ordinary person. If we have to see little bit events in the life of Arjuna, how powerful Arjuna is. From the skill point of view, how powerful is Arjuna? We know that when Arjuna is going uh, to, as he is dressed up as Brahmana, Arjuna and Krishna, both of them, they are going. At that time, this episode of where Draupadi Swayamvar, everyone, all big people are there assembled at that time. And at that time, the condition that Drupad Maharaj has kept is there very far away, there is a tree. Okay. And on the top branch of the tree, there is a fish. Okay. And there is the eye of the fish. So any archer who can pierce the eye of the fish, he can get the hand of Draupadi. Was it easy? No. because the tree was very far and one small fish hanging on the tree, very difficult to locate the fish. And how would you win the game? Not by hitting the fish, by hitting the eye of the fish. So that makes things even more worse. And to make things even more difficult, the Drupad Maharaj had kept a revolving wheel in front of the fish. So the archer has to first pierce his arrow through the revolving wheel and then hit the eye of the fish. Was it easy? Definitely not. And to make things more complicated, more difficult, you cannot directly look at the eye of the fish. There is a water body nearby. You have to look in the water body at the reflection. Looking at the reflection, you have to aim. How difficult it is. And who has done it? None other than the great warrior Arjuna. We can't imagine what kind of expertise, what kind of talent Arjuna has to win this game or to win the hand of Draupadi. The kind of concentration, the kind of focus. Can you imagine looking at the reflection and shooting on the opposite direction with all these complicated arrangements which are made? That's how he won the hand of Draupadi. So the point is, Arjuna was extremely talented. Arjuna was extremely skillful. Arjuna was extremely focused. And then, second episode, if you were to see about Arjuna's mind and sense control. Once, when Arjuna is invited by his father Indra to go to come to heavenly planet, so Arjuna goes. At that time, the most beautiful girl in the heavens, Urvashi. Everyone wants to have a relationship with Urvashi because she is the most beautiful damsel in the heavenly planets. But Urvashi is not attracted to have a relation with any Tom, Dick, and Harry because she is also the most celebrated one. Why would she unite with someone if the person is not of that level? So, this Urvashi on her own, people are running behind her, but she is not interested in, she is very selective about whom to connect with. And here, that same Urvashi, when she sees Arjuna, she comes and offers a proposal that, my dear Arjuna, I want to unite with you. And Arjuna is very much happy, but he tells, thank you, but I'm sorry, I cannot unite with you. Why? Because I have always seen you as a mother. Hmm? Someone who's like connected to my father Indra. So Indra is my father, so I have seen you as the mother. So sorry, I cannot unite with you. And Urvashi is like, come on, are you a fool? Can you imagine what you are refusing? Arjuna says, sorry, I can't. At that time, Urvashi curses that you become impotent. So at that time, we see that 1 year curse wherein Arjuna was like Brihanalla, like a eunuch, he was going in the kingdom of Virat. So at that time, during that Agyatwas period, that was the time when this curse took effect at that time. So the point is, in this second episode, we see that this great, powerful Arjuna's mind and sense control, that he could say no to such an tempting offer, which so many people in this world would generally fall to. It's not easy. Like that, if we study the different episodes of Arjuna, where we see Arjuna is very skillful. Arjuna is very talented. Arjuna has a great degree of mind and self control. Arjuna has great qualities of respecting the superior in all aspects. From the character point of view, Arjuna is like par excellence. From the competency point of view, he is par excellence, like an ideal king, a great administrator, powerful, charismatic. But then, if we come back to this section of the Bhagavad Gita, a person like Arjuna who is all powerful. But what does Arjuna tell towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita? He tells that the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Eva Muktva Arjuna Sankhye Rato Paso Upavishat Visrijya Sa Sharam Shapam Shoka Sambhigna Manasa. So Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra about Arjuna. He's telling that Evam Uktva Arjuna Sankhye. After Arjuna spoke to Lord Krishna, these four reasons which Arjuna was telling, that my dear Lord, my hand is shivering, my skin is drying up, my mind is reeling, my I am unable to stand here any longer. All these things Arjuna is telling. And Arjuna, he gave away his Gandiva. That same Arjuna had taken a vow once upon a time. Anyone who tells me to give up my Gandiva weapon, I am going to kill that person. And now, what has suddenly happened to Arjuna? So, this is a very powerful message. Therefore, what Krishna wants to teach through this episode of Arjuna, that all of us in our life, we may be very expert. Like Krishna has given Arjuna the skill of fighting. So, as a Kshatriya, he is expert in his field of archer. So, in the same way, Krishna has given us different skills to different people. Someone may be very good at cooking. Some Mataji or Prabhuji may be very expert in cooking, the best cook. Someone may be an expert manager. Someone may be very good in driving. Someone may be very good in some computer thing. Someone may be very good in fundraising. Someone may be very good in speaking. Someone may be very good in drawing. So there can be thousands of things, thousands of skills will be there. And many of the skills many of us may have. But what Krishna is teaching through Arjuna is, in spite of having all these skills in life, life will put all of us in a test. Or you can say life will put all of us in crossroads. Crossroad or like that junction. Like you come to a place from where you have different options. Should I go straight? Should I take a left? Should I take a right? Should I take a U-turn? So life will put all of us in crossroads where, in spite of having everything, we may have been nicely educated from the best of the degrees from the premier institutes like IIT, MIT. I have the degree of a doctor, engineer, chartered accountant, whatever. The best of the degrees, the best of the positions in the company, CEO or general manager, and we may have the best of the package. Every month, we may be earning crores of rupees, the best of the houses, good mansion, the best of the cars, even after having everything else. But still, a point will come in life where all of us will become hopeless, helpless at one point or the other. So life is made in such a way that it will put all of us in crossroads, where we will become hopeless even after everything, where we will not feel like doing anything, where it will be like enough is enough, too much. I don't want to do anything. So that's how the situation of Arjuna is, having all power, all set for a war, but suddenly the game changes. That's how Krishna has strategically arranged this Bhagavad Gita so that Krishna wanted to teach a lesson that in spite of all our material capabilities, still life, when it will throw googly on us, all these material shelters will not come to help us. At that time, only one thing in life will come to rescue us. That is taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So, therefore, in the purport of this verse, if we read in the second canto, second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which Prabhupada is quoting in this purport also. So, Prabhupada writes that by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplexity. Therefore, it behooves one to approach bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. By nature's own way, Prabhupada writes, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity. Then Prabhupada gives an example. He gives the example of the forest fire. No one wants forest fire. Does anyone think that there should be fire? No. But how does the forest fire take place? Automatically. The trees come together, there is friction caused by the wind, and suddenly there is fire. So Prabhupada says in life also, suddenly some problem comes from somewhere. It is like fire. Therefore, we see that Bhagavad Gita is spoken strategically in a scenario of war. Why did Krishna choose the setting of a war to give this most essential message of the Bhagavad Gita? He could have chosen a different setting altogether. Why did he choose the setting of a war? What message did Lord had to give? The Lord had to give a very important message that living life in this material world is like fighting a war. In while many times we don't know from where which weapon is going to come. Sometimes arrow will come from the front, sometimes arrow will come from the side, arrow can come from this side, arrow can come from behind. Anytime, anywhere, any arrow can come during a war. So in the same way, in life also, different problems can come from different directions. Sometimes an arrow like problem, like physical health challenges, can come from the front. How are we ready to face it? Sometimes some emotional turbulence, breakdown can come from this side, one arrow again. How can we face it? Sometimes some financial challenges, some arrow can come from this side. Sometimes some relationship issues can come from this side. So Lord wants to teach that how do we deal with all these different kinds of challenges, physical, emotional, and financial, and so on and so forth. So, therefore, the important point is that forest fire comes automatically, and how much ever we try to put off that forest fire on our own, it is not possible. I cannot take a bucket of water from my washroom and try to put off a forest fire. No, I cannot take some small pipe attached to my bathroom and try to put off this forest fire. No, forest fire can be put off only through one way. That is when the rains come. When the water comes from the top, only then forest fire can be put off. Otherwise, on our own, how much ever we may try to put off the forest fire, it is not going to go. So, in the similar way, every day in the morning program, we sing Samsara Dava Nalalidhaluka Tranayaka. घनात्मं प्राप्तस्य कल्याण गुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम्. So in the morning we see that this material world is like a forest fire. Samsara Davanala. Material world is like a forest fire. And Ranaya Karunya Ghana Ghana. The water, forest fire can be mitigated only by the water that comes from the cloud. Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya. Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. So therefore, in order to mitigate this forest fire, in order to mitigate the problems of life, in order to solve the problems of life, there is only one, there is only one, there is only one solution. Taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Only, only, and only that is going to help us. No other material person, no other material solution can solve this problem. The problem can be solved only by taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Or taking shelter of a spiritual master is very, very, very important if at all we have to advance in our spiritual life or if we have to come out of the problems. Therefore, Prabhupada, in this most important purport also, he is giving the example of a Brahmana and a Kripana. Kripana means miserly person. Anyone who has achieved, received this rare human form of life, but is not utilizing to solve the problems, he is known as a Kripana. Leaves this world without solving the problems of life. That is birth, old age, disease, and death. These are the main problems. Human life has been given to solve these problems, but anyone who leaves the world without solving these problems, he is a Kripana. On the opposite, on the contrary, the opposite is a Brahmana. When he uses his life to solve the problems of life, birth, old age, disease, and death, he is a Brahmana. Brahma Janati iti Brahman. One who knows who is Brahma, what is spirit, what is matter, and who is the controller of the both. So therefore, we have to be intelligent enough to take shelter of Guru and by surrendering unto the feet of a bona fide spiritual master, getting to hear from the spiritual master, submissive oral reception from the spiritual master, and then when we try to apply the teachings that he gives us, then only we can come out of this, what do you call it, like quicksand. In Hindi, you call it like daldal, quicksand. Quicksand is like you keep going down, down, down. Once you enter the quicksand, you cannot come out. Therefore, we see in the scriptures again and again and again that how this material world is sometimes compared to forest fire. This material world is sometimes compared to like a python. This material world is sometimes compared to an ocean. This material world is sometimes compared to a blind, dark well. There is one, I think, Lakshmi Narsimha Mama Dehi Karavalambam. There is one prayer which is composed by Shankaracharya ji. Lakshmi Narsimha Mama Dehi Karavalambam. So in that he is giving various comparisons of samsara. I give four now. Samsara is compared to a large ocean. Easy to enter the ocean, but you cannot get out. One will drown without the help of the guru. Samsara is compared to a deep, dark well. Once fallen, without the help of guru, you cannot come out. Samsara is compared to a python. easy to enter the mouth, but once entering, you cannot come out. So like that, various comparisons. But the essential instruction is that we have to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. And only when we take shelter of spiritual master and hear from him, render service unto him, then only we can be free. So therefore we see in Bhagavad Gita also in the 4th chapter, 34th verse, it is explained. Tad vidhi pranipatena परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन and sevaya. Three things are there. Pranipatena. Pranipatena means one has to be like prakshita rupena nipat. Totally one has to be flat. Pranipate. Pariprashnena. Submissive inquiry. And sevaya. Rendering service to the Guru. So three things are very important. Totally surrendering to the Guru, pranipatena, submissive inquiry, and asking and rendering service. So all these things are important. Upadikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Guru can impart knowledge to us because Guru Guru can impart knowledge to us because that Guru has seen the truth. He can give that realization to us. So therefore, it behooves everyone to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So therefore, we see Lord Krishna himself teaching by his own example. When he came as Lord Ram, he himself accepted a guru. When he came as Lord Krishna, when he came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he himself accepted a guru. Why the Supreme Lord had to accept spiritual master? What was the need? To teach us by example that I myself I come and I take shelter of a spiritual master. So how much important it is for you all to take shelter of the spiritual master. But the mood of taking shelter is very important. Just like if we are sick, if I go to a doctor, in what mood does a patient go to a doctor? Patient is suffering. He goes to a doctor in a very submissive mood. Doctor, please treat me. I am suffering with so and so disease. A patient will not go to a doctor in a challenging spirit with a mood of how much do I want to pay. So a patient is a fool if he'll go to a doctor with a challenging mood. So in the same way, if one goes to a spiritual master in a challenging mood, then that is a very great problem. So the mood has to be with submission. So in the same way, when we approach Guru, the mood has to be in a mood of submission. And then the Guru is a transparent via medium. Therefore, it is said, Sakshadharitvena samasta shastrer uktastata bhav vyata eva shadbhi kintu prabhorya priya eva tasya vande guru shri charanarvindam sakshadharitvena. Guru has to be worshipped as good as God because he is direct representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The scriptures say, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastre Uktas Tathabha Vyateva Shadvir Kintu Prabhorya Priya Eva Tasya. So therefore in a day it is explained, Vande Guru Shri Charanar Vindam Dhyayan Stuvams Tasya Yashastri Sandhya. Every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, we have to remember our spiritual master. Because ब्रह्मांडे भ्रमिते कोनो भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाए भक्तिलता बीज. ब्रह्मांडे भ्रमिते कोनो भाग्यवान जीव. In this material world, the living entities are wandering from one universe to another universe. Even in one universe, he has been wandering in all these 14 planetary systems from top to bottom. Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka. So all these 14 planetary systems are there. Seven lower planetary systems: Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Patal. And then seven higher planetary systems: Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. So everywhere the living entity has been wandering. Brahmande Brahmite. All living entities have been wandering. Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. But very few out of them Guru Krishna Prasade Pai. By the mercy of Krishna, one will get a Guru. By mercy of Guru, one will get Krishna. Bhakti Lata Bij. And through this combination, the seed of devotional service is being given to us. So this is very rare opportunity. To get human form of life is very rare. Again and again the scriptures tell how to get this human form of life. Durlabha Manushya Janma. Durlabha Manushya Janma. Again and again. This human form of life is not rare. And Sudurlabha. Durlabha is rare, but the scriptures use this word many times. Sanskrit word Sudurlabha. Very, very rare. Very, very rare. So human form of life is very rare. And this human form of life, if one gets to meet a bona fide guru, bona fide spiritual master, it is even more rare. So therefore in another verse in the Bhagavatam it is explained. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prashantatma kotish api mahamuni. How rare it is to find a pure devotee of the Lord. Muktanam api siddhanam. Amongst all the people who are liberated, Muktana, those who are perfected, Narayana Parayana, even amongst all those who are perfected living entities, this Narayana Parayana, pure devotee of the Lord, is like very rare. Kotishu api Mahamuni. Even amongst crores of people who are liberated or perfected, one will find very rarely one pure devotee of the Lord. So it is explained that to get an association of a pure devotee of the Lord is the most rarest thing in this entire universe. But we have been very fortunate that we have received the association of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, that we are still taking darshan of, who are going around us day in and day out. So human form of life is very rare. To get association of a pure devotee is even rare. And if we are able to hear from the pure devotee through his Vani, two kinds of association. One is Vani and one is Vapu. Vapu is physical association, Vani is the message. So we should understand we are the most fortunate if we are able to get an opportunity to hear the spiritual sound vibration from the bona fide spiritual master by his transcendental sound through his Krishna Katha. That is the greatest mercy which the Guru can give. The most important gift of a Guru is his sound vibration, which he gives through his classes, through his personal instructions, but mainly through his classes. Whatever the spiritual master wants to speak, he gives it through the classes. And any sincere disciple or aspiring disciple who accepts those words, sound vibration coming from the spiritual master in his heart, then that person can get maximum benefit of the association of the spiritual master. So therefore, spiritual master is only interested in his disciple getting connected to Krishna. That is the only goal of the spiritual master. Like someone asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what will please you the most? And different people thought that if Prabhupada will say distributing books, Prabhupada will say something fundraising. But Prabhupada said that if you love Krishna, that will please me the most. So therefore, spiritual master's main business is to ensure that disciple gets connected to Krishna, disciple revives his love of God in this lifetime, thereby getting out of this cycle of birth and death. That the guru is not pleased if disciple gives him lot of money or does this, that. That is all okay. But the most important thing that the guru is pleased to see if the disciple is progressing in his Krishna consciousness. If the disciple is sincerely following the process that is given by the spiritual master at the time of initiation, we take the vow of chanting 16 rounds, following the four regulative principles, and serving the spiritual master. The mission of Srila Prabhupada in the mode of servant of the servant of the servant. So, if the disciple is following those instructions, then the spiritual master becomes very much pleased that, oh, this rare, fortunate soul is properly utilizing this human form of life. So, therefore, to get this rare fortune of meeting a pure devotee and thereby hearing from him, that is the greatest fortune. So, therefore, again and again in the scriptures, the taking shelter of a spiritual master is again and again emphasized repeatedly. This is a theme which keeps coming in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. That how important it is that we have to take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. So here also we see how in this purport by the seeing that how Aditi is the disciple and she is accepting her husband Kashyapa Rishi as the spiritual master. In this purport, Prabhupada is teaching all of us the importance of taking shelter of a spiritual master, quoting various verses. We only discussed from one verse, Shishyaste Hamshadi Mam Tapanam. Like that, Prabhupada is quoting from Mundaka Upanishad, Tad Vijnanartam Sa Guru Evam Abhigachet. Mundaka Upanishad also tells that one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master. Then from 11th chapter Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada is quoting Acharya Mam Vijaniyat. So like that, so many places Prabhupada is quoting. But the essential theme is one, as we discussed in today's class, that no amount of material assets, material skills can help us in solving life's problems, which is like forest fire. Only one solution, taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Only by doing that, taking shelter of Krishna's representative, can all the problems of life be solved. Otherwise, on our own, we may take shelter of all temporary solutions. The Bhagavatam gives comparison that you may see a dog swimming in the ocean, and you may think that, oh, I want to cross the ocean. I will take help of the dog's tail, and the dog will keep swimming. I will hold on to the tail, and I will also swim across the ocean. Bhagavatam says, sorry, the dog will drown and you will also drown. So, what the message Bhagavatam is giving is when we are in problems, the tendency is to take shelter of some material people or some material solutions. And many people in this world advertise lot of material solutions. Oh, you have this problem, do this, your problem will go away. Then someone will come and tell something else. Oh, you are going through this problem, I have a solution for you. Take a vacation, go here, go there, your problem will be solved. Someone may tell, do this. A lot of motivational speakers are there nowadays who will give us a pep talk and try to motivate us, lift us our spirit. But these are all like temporary solutions. We are frustrated of temporary solutions. We want a permanent solution. Temporary solutions is going to work for 1 or 2 days. Go to the root of the disease. We are not interested in solving the disease on a symptomatic level. Hmm? Again, after 3 days, back to square one. We don't want such temporary solutions. We want permanent solutions, and our scriptures give us permanent solutions and not temporary solutions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any quick questions or comments? You all can ask.
Hare Krishna Ji, thank you for this wonderful class. I just have a quick question as to who was the guru of Lord Krishna?
Lord Krishna took instructions from, he went to Ujjain, Sandipani Muni.
Sandipani. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry. Go ahead, Mataji.
Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. When you were talking, I was just reflecting on how fortunate we all are, and that we get association of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and we get to hear from them. Prabhu, I have a question about an understanding that I have. I have noticed this with me personally. So when there are people who don't follow Krishna consciousness, or who do not have any even interest to develop an understanding on spirituality, when they experience problem, and I have some family members, actually many family members, who are not Krishna conscious, when they experience problems and then they share those problems with me, I tend to always look at it with a perspective of that, they are not, it's all about perspective in life, right? So they are, for them, their problems are big and things like that. And when they are sharing their problems, I always think that, it is because I always wish them well, and I always wish that, I hope they take to Krishna consciousness because it helps them with a perspective. But interestingly, Prabhu, when I myself face problems, um, I also do tend to think like them. Not so it is, I may not blame Krishna when I get a problem, but I'm still affected, and I'm still, it still like shakes me. So then when I sit back and reflect on how I'm handling my problem as opposed to how they are handling their problem, there's not a much difference. And I realize it that I am still behaving a certain way, irrespective of getting Guru's mercy, irrespective of getting Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So I guess how do I understand this, Prabhu? Because when I see them in problems, I feel that it is because of lack of faith. And I am working on developing that faith. I'm sure I'm not there yet, and that's why I get affected. But how do I understand that?
Thank you. Very beautiful question, Padmini Radha Mataji. And it happens with all of us. Everyone in life, they go through their ups and downs. And as you said, when we are in our good periods in life, and at that time when we see others going through their downs and the solutions which they are taking, we always, as devotees, we feel that, oh, if at all they take to Krishna consciousness, it would be so nice if they get this perspective, as you said. That's very good. But at the same time, as you rightly said, when we ourselves go through the same kind of difficulties as they are going through, at that time we also struggle. Many times we have questions about the existence of Krishna, and many times we go through our faith crisis also, especially when there is suffering. It happens with everyone. Hmm? Real doubts start coming in the process. If Krishna is there, doesn't he understand what I am going through? Does he really know? So all of us, we go through this ups and downs in life, and that is the way of growing in Krishna consciousness also. So I feel that at that time, especially when we are going through our difficult phases, as we see that life is going to put everyone in different challenging situations at some point of time. Everyone is going to go through their set of unique purification, unique challenges. So at that time, the most important thing is that the association of devotees. That is the most important thing I feel, that when in association of devotees, when one person is down, the other is up, and this duty of the person who is up to lift us up when we are down. So I was hearing one lecture of Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, where he was speaking on the Vritrasur's prayers, the four prayers which Vritrasur offered in the sixth canto. So there in one prayer, Vritrasur is offering about, speaking about developing friendships in the association of devotees. So there he is speaking about the Maitri or Sakhyam, some friendship point he is speaking. So Prabhu Maharaj in that class was mentioning about the importance of developing friendships in the association of devotees. And there he was telling that uh, when you are up, someone else is down. When we are down, someone else is up. So essentially, in association of devotees, like-minded, we cannot gel with everyone. But Maharaj was mentioning that developing like-minded friendships, like-minded association of devotees is especially helpful in the journey of Krishna consciousness, and especially when we are down, then we take, we seek our support from that friends of ours in Krishna consciousness. So, therefore, it is important that we invest quality time in cultivating good friendships in Krishna consciousness. Because at that time, no philosophy is going to help us, whatever. Like, it's like we may speak that, oh, if this problem, this solution, this problem, this solution. But when we ourselves go through that problem, that solution doesn't strike us at all. We may have spoken to 100 people 100 times the same solution, but we totally forget or we lose faith in that solution, or we may not take shelter of that solution. So at that time, this association of devotees is very, very much helpful for helping. So therefore, it is very important to develop strong friendships in the association, whatever way, whomever we can gel, whomever we can connect, at least one. Maharaj says at least one, if not more. If we have more, and Maharaj says to develop close friendship, it takes lot of many years. It takes lot of sacrifice. Nothing comes easy. To have a very really strong bonding friendships, lot of sacrifices, lot of the friendship has to go through ups and downs. It, he was mentioning around like it takes like 30 years or something, he was telling, to develop one very close friend. So therefore we cannot underestimate this thing of, like Rupa Goswami gives us this principle, dadati pratigrinati guhyam akhyati prichhati bhukte bhojayate. The six loving exchanges when we do with someone, then the bonding becomes very strong. So I feel that the only thing that works when we are going through difficulty is when we have someone close. Of course, devotees, when they pray for us, and we have some close friends who are always encouraging us, giving us that support, that guidance, that can only help us during that time. Otherwise, this faith crisis is very difficult, especially some faith crisis or health crisis, relationship challenges, physical, mental, all the different kinds of problems which are inevitable going to come. So that is like one thought I had in mind. Is it okay, Padmini, Radha Mataji?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And, I really like how devotees call difficult times as purifications, because that just gives a different perspective to what you're going through. Um, and I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Any other questions or
Hare
comments?
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for explaining uh, the importance of Guru and accepting a Guru so nicely. Prabhu, I was reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 yesterday, verses 34 and 35 on Abhyas and Vairagya. So, a steady progress in bhakti is possible only by Abhyas and Vairagya. So, if you could just shed some light on that, Prabhu. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
So,
so that will be.
Abhyasa,
Thank you so much.
when Arjuna is speaking about the turbulent mind, so that time Krishna gives this answer. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha griyate. Practice and detachment. So practice means regularly trying to do what we have been told to do. The process of Vaidi sadhana bhakti. So this daily, the practice that we have been told, getting up early in the morning, chanting our 16 rounds attentively in the association of devotees, and then trying to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam class, trying to read Srila Prabhupada books, trying to render service, trying to take darshan of the deities. So all these process, the 9 process of devotional service, the 5 most powerful process of devotional service, they are all like the practice element. Sadhana. Every day we try to do it. And detachment is the don'ts that we have been told. Do's and don'ts. The 4 regulative principles that is mainly there. And then apart from that, whatever is not favorable to Krishna consciousness, we stay away. Anukulya se sankalpa, pratikulya se varjan. So whatever is favorable, we accept. Whatever is not favorable, we stay away from that. So both a patient has to follow, has to take medicine, do's and don'ts, both. Medicine he has to take, and doctor tells that stay away from certain diet. For example, if I have a diabetes, don't eat sugar, stay away from sweets. So in the same way, in devotional service, there are certain do's and certain don'ts, like a patient. So we are spiritually diseased. So our do's is the process of devotional service, and don'ts is whatever is harmful, those things we stay away. So therefore, this nectar of instruction also we see. It speaks about what are the things that destroy our devotional service. Atyahara prayaschascha prajalpa niyamagraha. Janasangascha laulyamcha shadbir bhakti vinashyati. So in that we see about atyahara, too much over endeavoring or overeating more than necessary. Atyahara prayas, too much endeavor more than needed. Prajalpa, mundane gossip. Niyam agraha, doing things for the sake of doing or rejecting things without understanding the purpose. Janasanga, associating too much with worldly minded people. And laulyam. Laulyam is being greedy for material achievements. Shadbir bhakti vinashyati. These things will destroy our devotional service. And what are the things that are favorable? That is also explained. Utsaha nishchayat dhairyat tat tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga satovritte shadbir bhakti prasidati. So all these things that are favorable should be followed. What things that are unfavorable? So we are speaking about vairagya, abhyasa, abhyasa and vairagya. So in Vairagya, things that are not favorable, especially I told you from Nectar of Instruction, the 6 points, that has to be given up. So do's and don'ts both have to be followed. So that is the point that which you were asking from the 6th chapter. I think 34th or 33rd verse where Krishna is speaking this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Dandavat.
Dandavat Pranam. Anyone else has anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Mandarat Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Maharaj ki jai. So Prabhuji, in your class you spoke about Dhruv Maharaj and you giving example and context to something, right? So like why is Dhruv Maharaj asking for such a big kingdom, bigger than his grandfather, but he was just not made to sit on the lap of his mother, of his father. So, he could have, how is that connected? Because that really irritated him. His mother was tolerant, but he was, like such a small child is thinking of a big kingdom. What will he do with the kingdom? If he becomes rich, will his father make him sit on the lap or something? Or is there some connection?
Basically, he was not allowed to sit on the lap of his father.
Yes.
So he wanted a position greater than his great grandfather, that Lord Brahma. So that is the anger of Kshatriya. We can't understand what it means to be a Kshatriya. First is that boiling blood of a Kshatriya, we can't understand. 5-year-old boy, but not ordinary boy. A Kshatriya boy, and that too like a snake when it is trampled. Cobra is poisonous. The nature is to be poisonous. And what if someone keeps his legs on the cobra? Already it is poisonous, angry cobra. On top of that, if you keep your leg, then you are gone. So in the same way, first of all, Kshatriya, and on top of that, someone who is like hurt or disturbed Kshatriya. So like that, we have to understand that Dhruva Maharaj, at that age of 5, someone who is being expecting some warmth and affection from his father, and suddenly out of the blues, this stepmother comes and tries to totally, he was totally flabbergasted when that event happened, when he was not allowed to do something which he wanted to do. So that caused a lot of pain and anger in Dhruva Maharaj. So therefore, he wanted this big position or big power, that I want a position because I was not allowed to sit on the lap of my father. So I want to be the greatest. He wanted that great position, greater than that of his grandfather. Many times in anger, it's not necessary that what you ask has to be like connected. Many times, it need not be logical also. I want something great. But in anger, many times it's said intelligence is totally off. So not necessarily it has to correlate with what he was seeking, but I want something great. I want something big. That thing he asked, whether logically that would fulfill his need of sitting on the throne of his father. No. Father was sitting on a elevated throne. I was not allowed to sit. So I want to sit in a bigger position. So with that sense, he asked the question like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Also, Prabhuji, like we often hear that whenever we want to ask something from Krishna, we should ask him only and not anyone else, to fulfill our material desires. But I also noticed that when we ask for something, any material desire, and suppose that desire Krishna fulfills. So first we have a desire, we want it. Krishna fulfills it. When once he fulfills it, then we feel that why did he fulfill it? I mean, you feel later on that why did you ask that thing? Oh, because of that you're feeling little stressed. So it's like you're asking, he's fulfilling, and then because the time passes. At that particular moment, you're asking for a desire. You want that desire to be fulfilled. But then when it's fulfilled, later on, then you think that, I mean, why I was asking for a thing like that? So I'm going to ask a question. So, like, this is the scenario, right? Now we have to only ask from Krishna the desires, right? And also, we are not like Dhruv Maharaj, where, when Krishna came in front, he found them like broken glasses, all the mahal and palaces he was asking for, right? He thought it to be like a broken glasses. I mean, he felt in a similar context. I just told you the same thing. Like you ask for desire, it fulfill, and then you feel, because that time you're in a state of mind which we are not there in the past. Um it's a future state of mind. So how can we be in a state where we don't ask Krishna anything? And of course, we keep on asking for Krishna. I'm just like saying about myself, I'm like forced to keep on asking from Krishna something or the other. And and I'm not coming to a point where I can tell myself that, well, Krishna, like, I don't want all my desires like broken pieces of glasses, because my bhakti is not pure enough that I can uh, feel that much that I can say, okay, and I have to abandon my all my desires. They keep coming and I keep asking, and then I tell myself, when the desire is fulfilled, that yes, this got fulfilled because I was asking, and I don't know why I asked. So sorry about I'm going on in a circle. But how to stop asking from Krishna only, because anyway he's giving us so much. He's giving us food, shelter, all these things he's giving us. A lot of people don't have, roti, kapda, makan, right? And our health is good. Money is there in the bank, and many other things are there which others don't have. We're already helping so much. Still, we are being selfish. So how can we be in a state where we don't stop asking from Krishna only? So I think that will be a more happy state, according to me.
So, like in Bhagavad Gita, it is explained, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinam rasam varjya rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When we get a higher taste, then automatically the taste for lower things automatically will go away. Like, for example, if someone has been eating some dry chapati made 2 3 days before, and suddenly that person gets hot chappan bhuk to eat, then he will give up that dry chapati. So, in the same way, until and unless one experiences a higher taste in the process of Krishna consciousness, it is not easy to give up all the lower sense gratificatory desires. So, therefore, the more we experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness, when we practice sincerely, certain experiences will come to us, certain satisfaction will come to us. So, only when we experience that joy, that satisfaction, higher taste in the practice of Krishna consciousness, then only we will not be disturbed by lower material desires. So, primarily, the practice of Krishna consciousness has to give us the higher taste. Then we know what is of substance, what is shadow. Then we see the fleeting beauty of all these materialistic desires. that what is this? The ugly, naked truth of material, illusory pleasures are seen to us. Then we are not affected because we know. Although the mind may tempt us, but we will not fall prey to it. Maya will try to tempt us. Take this will give you happiness. Take this, do this. But we know this is only the the gift appears very exciting with the external shining wrapper, but inside that gift is all bullshit. Nothing is worth accepting. So Maya always tries to fool by giving that